Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What's the 411 News. And today we're going to put you up on some game, all right? Because you all know that the midterms are coming up in November. And, the Democrats are going to get out there and get a few things stirred up. And one of those things, because, no one's going to admit to it, but when you've been recognizing things and seeing patterns, if you will, and, certain things being said over and over and certain actions being done, you can kind of tell where it's coming from, even if it never gets told where it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? All right. So with that being said, we have one of the Disinformation Playbook. It's suspected that the DNC is putting out some of their clowns. They're putting their clowns out there. And we have one that, when we break it down, some of you might say, like, what? Because I just say the dude seemed like he's contradicting himself. And so one of the clowns is out here trying to discredit foundational Black Americans. All right. And we're going to get into that and let you check it out. I'm going to do the play and stop type of thing, so you guys can get the gist of it. So yeah, let's go on and get started, man, and play this video. All right, let's get it in.
And that's how you know FBA is an op. FBA stands for Foundational Black American. And if you're on the apps, you've seen this acronym, you've seen this thing floating around the last few years. It only popped up probably around Hillary when she was running, but it got more prominent when Kamala came on the scene. And then that group was used.
All right. First of all, now we might also use the word group, but when they use the word group, they're really trying to be offensive, right? They'll say this group as if it's like a small, like it's just 10 people or something like that, right? So you're already seeing them from the start. I'm going to play this again, but you already see him from the start, from the very start of the video, already trying to do a lot of discrediting tactics. All right. So let's play it again.
And that's how you know FBA is an op.
Already starting at the beginning, that's how you know FBA is an op. And I want y'all to know, let me break that down. How can a lineage of people be an op? It's a lineage, it's literally a lineage of people. We got Black Americans, and not everybody calls themselves foundational Black Americans. And this clown will probably make some mention of that. But we're going to break this video down. Now, not everybody refers to themselves as foundational Black Americans, but you're going to still have people that are going to try to discredit and say things like FBA is an op, which stands for Foundational Black Americans. FBA is an op. They're a group. They have a leader, when none of that is true. But they're going to keep repeating that because the way the brain works, the more you repeat, your brain starts accepting certain things. You keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And if you don't do any critical thinking, or just simply thinking like, why do I keep hearing this being repeated from different people? And then it's going to have to cause you to have some questions like, are they what they're saying? Or do they just have something against them? Right? It's going to cause you to think one way or the other. Some people are just going to think and accept as is, and they're going to run with it. And that's kind of like how a virus gets spread. You could spread a wrong virus, right? And how a virus works, it spreads. It keeps replicating. So they're replicating the same talking points all these clown ops. I'm calling them the clown ops. All right. And if this guy has an issue with me personally, we can get together and speak on it. I'm gonna say it like that. But he's a clown op. That's what I'm gonna call him. Anybody who won't come out and say who they speaking up for, even though we suspect he's a DNC op, they're just clown ops in my book. So we can call them, I'm calling them a clown op. And anybody else that starts using these words and spreading this virus, replicating the same garbage, the same lies, male or female, you are clown ops. And that's all of that. That's all it is to it. All right. So again, he's coming out the gate with FBA. That's how you know FBA is an op. All right. So let's continue with the video.
FBA stands for Foundational Black American. And if you're on the apps, you've seen this acronym, you've seen this thing.
When you're on the apps, you've seen this acronym, like time to downplay. Oh, they really ain't nothing. If you see this acronym on the apps, like Foundational Black Americans only exist on digitally on the apps. They're not outside. But we're gonna break that down because he's gonna say some other things, and we're gonna get it in. All right, we're gonna break it down.
On the apps, you've seen this acronym, you've seen this thing floating around the last few years. It only popped up probably around
floating around the last several years.
Hillary when she was running, but it got more prominent.
By him saying that, floating around for just a few years, again, he's trying to downgrade, low grade, trying to give you the insinuation that, oh, they're nothing. They just popped up out of nowhere. They're a bunch of nobodies without saying they're a bunch of nobodies, right?
Acronym. You've seen this thing floating around the last few years. It only popped up probably around Hillary when she was running, but it got more prominent when Kamala came on the scene. And then that group was used as an op to target.
The group was used as an op. Continue.
Prominent when Kamala came on the scene. And then that group was used as an op to target Black politicians. And that's how you know it's an op.
So you know that FBA is an op because they just came out prominently when Kamala was around just to target Black politicians, right? Let's play that one more time.
Scene. And then that group was used
as
an op to target Black politicians.
That group was used as an op to target Black politicians, and that's how you know they're an op. You see the idiocy of his comments? So people would think a little bit more, saying, come on, man, you got to give me something better than that to say they're op because of that. That doesn't give you a reason how they're an op. And it's not about you're targeting Black politicians, but it has been the Black politicians, more or less, that have been the ones that were constantly keeping foundational Black Americans on the back burner, not doing anything for them. And all these other ethnic groups come in and they're rolling out the red carpet for them. I mean, that's actually, you've seen this. This has been out there. But he's not saying that, right? See, you also got to pay attention what things that are being said and what's not being said.
Came on the scene, and then that group was used as an op to target Black politicians. And that's how you know it's an op. They were protesting Kamala Harris last night. Think about that. She's not the president. She's not the vice president. She's not a senator, a congressperson. She's a civilian like you and I.
Now, I'm going to play that again, but I'm going to speak on that. He said they was going out last night. Now, I think what he was referring to was a brother going by the name Black Alpha. And, of course, our brother Marcel. Both brothers went out there to one of Kamala's book signings or something to that effect. And I want y'all to do your own research, but pay attention. Well, go back and look. When these people were running, when people were running for president, A lot of times they have books that come out as they're running, or it comes out before they get ready to start running, or it comes out right after they win. And Kamala's doing the same thing. Kamala is doing the same thing, trying to get a book out there. I don't know if this is the same book where she lied about, she had images in her book and claiming one of them was like a grandmother. And turned out it wasn't even, it was nobody, no relative of hers. I think Candace Owens kind of exposed that one. Not that I'm caping for Candace, because she said some things about Black Americans too, but I'll call out when somebody kind of exposes stuff. And I think Candace Owens was doing research on Kamala's book. And I don't know if this is a second book Kamala's come out with, or it's the first book she's still trying to promote, where she's trying to act like she has actual Black parents, trying to give the impression that she's somewhat associated with the Black American experience, which we all know she's a red dot Indian, plain and simple, trying to front off like she's has some link to Black American lineage and heritage and the experience. But she's a straight red dot Indian. Y'all all remember that video when I think she was in a video with her sister, her actual sister, I think, or a friend of hers, and the friend was Indian, and they were talking about their Indian heritage. Don't let people do stuff in front of you and you see what's going on, like that video I was referring to. And maybe I'll try to find that later and maybe do something on my podcast channel to expose that. Where she was talking and they was cooking or food or stuff like that, and they was talking about their Indian heritage. They ain't said nothing about no Black Americans, didn't say nothing about Black people. So don't let people play dumb and run dumb in your face by putting videos out exposing what she is, but then coming back saying, "Oh, she's Black." But the videos out there, I'm telling you, they talking about Indian folks, they own people, right? So again, with the book situation, a lot of these politicians come out with books when they running, and I'm almost kind of wondering sometimes that is that a clue for who's going to be president? Like a little secret clue. Like this person come out, and it might not always be like that, but these politicians come out with their books, like when they get ready to run. So they soft promoting themselves because they getting ready to do something. And this clown op, I'm gonna keep calling him a clown op. And again, like I said, you got a problem, dude, holla at me. We'll straighten some things out. But he's a clown op. And so he's going around saying, "Oh, she's not even a politician, but she's doing politician activities." All right. Politician activities. Let's play this video.
He popped up probably around Hillary when she was running, but it got more prominent when Kamala came on the scene. And then that group was used as an op to target Black politicians. And that's how you know it's an op. They were protesting Kamala Harris last night. Think about that. She's not the president. She's not the vice president. She's not a senator, a congressperson.
And, you know, I'm considering showing you something else too. I'm really considering this because I have it on my screen on my laptop. Let me see if I can find it. I might pull it up a little later. Yeah, I think this is it, right? Yeah, okay. I might have to show y'all something, all right? Yeah, I might have to show you something. The clown op want to act like a clown. We're gonna have to clown him and really get it in on who he's caping for. Kamala Harris. All right. Yeah, I might just pull that up for y'all.
As an op to target Black politicians. And that's how you know it's an op. They were protesting Kamala Harris last night. Think about that. She's not the president. She's not the vice president. She's not a senator, a congressperson. She's a civilian like you and I. But that group was protesting her. You know what they were protesting her about? Reparations.
Now, that's another thing. The real issue is they don't want us speaking up about reparations. They don't want us to bring up the fact that loads of other ethnic groups have been getting their forms of reparations. They're not wanting us to bring up that Biden allotted 500 million for Afghan refugees because of the whatever war back then that happened in the recent years. They don't want us to bring up how Biden was allowing these Latinos in, and how on that Zoom meeting he had Al Sharpton in there, which Al Sharpton about to get his work pretty soon again. Al Sharpton, Kamala Harris, Biden's I would call him the right-hand man that he called the boy, and a few others was in that Zoom meeting when Biden said, "You're gonna have to get with the Hispanics." And none of the so-called black folks, Al Sharpton didn't say nothing. The so-called red dot black Indian Kamala Harris didn't say nothing back, didn't push back on Biden. And a few of them other black folks that was in there didn't push back on Biden when he commented and said, "Y'all gonna have to get with the Hispanics," as if the Hispanics is the ones that they're gonna have to talk to get things popping. See, we're not forgetting this. But the clown op don't want to say nothing about that. Nah, not the clown op.
A congressperson, she's a civilian like you and I. But that group was protesting there. You know what they were protesting there about? Reparations.
He's laughing about reparations, but then guess what he says?
That's what they, as if Kamala Harris is our rich auntie with a checkbook, waiting to write us a check. Now let's.
And what he just said right there, waiting for Kamala Harris to write us a check. The same thing was meant. Al Sharpton mentioned the same thing. So I'm already seeing a pattern with the words they choosing. It's a thing going around with the clown ops, known and the unknown clown ops, because we don't know this dude's name or background. But we know Al Sharpton, another clown op. That's another line they've been using lately. Well, you think they're supposed to just write you a check? Same thing Al Sharpton said in his nincompoop knucklehead action networks, right? He said similar, it's almost similar, almost seemed like exactly what he just said. They ain't gonna come out and write you a check. They supposed to come out and write you a check. Trying to downplay giving anybody money, because we all been saying part of reparations, one of the main things is to hand out that check. It's going to be a whole bunch of other things that go along with it, but on the first thing on the list is to get that check, write that check off, break off that money for all the free labor that built this country, that the people who were involved in building it are no longer here to accept it. So as part of their lineage, we're going to accept it on their behalf because it's only the right thing to do. All right. You owe. But you know, the clown ops don't say, they leave things out.
Kamala Harris last night. Think about that. She's not the president. She's not the vice president. She's not a senator, a congressperson. She's a civilian like you and I. But that group was protesting there. You know what they were protesting there about? Reparations. That's what they, as if Kamala Harris is our rich auntie with a checkbook, waiting to write us a check.
As if Kamala Harris is the rich auntie with a checkbook, waiting to write a check. That's the same similar thing Al Sharpton said. Same thing, roughly the same words. So that's another pattern that's going down. Now they're making it like, oh, this person's supposed to write a check, as if Kamala is supposed to write the check. No, it's the government going to write the check, not out of her pocket. Clown op.
Reparations. That's what they, as if Kamala Harris is our rich auntie with a checkbook, waiting to write us a check. Now listen, I support and believe reparations. The U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continues.
Now he tries to downplay reparations, but then he says he supports it. How dumb does that sound? He's contradicting his own damn self. Listen to it again.
Our rich auntie with a checkbook waiting to write us a check. Now listen, I support and believe reparations. U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continue.
Now he's acknowledging that the government has done it for other people, but you're trying to downplay FBA for wanting to speak up about reparations. So it almost seemed like you're getting paid to say one thing, and then you go right behind and contradict yourself because you know they're going to pay you. They're gonna pay the clown out. They're gonna give him that clown money for acting like a clown by saying one thing and then contradicting himself right after the second after he says one thing.
Reparations. That's what as if Kamala Harris is our rich auntie with a checkbook waiting to write us a check. Now listen, I support and believe reparations. U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continues to, but not for black people. That money is owed us. That money is held by this government, our government. It should be paid to us. So you know what?
And now he's saying it should be paid to us. Hold on. Us who? Are you trying to say you foundational Black American too without having to say it? Or he's getting ready to say something more sinister. Let's play it again.
Kamala Harris is our rich auntie with a checkbook waiting to write us a check. Now listen, I support and believe reparations. U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continues to, but not for black people. That money is owed us. That money is held by this government, our government. It should be paid to us. So you know what? Not just U.S. black citizens, but U.S. Black citizens in the Caribbean and on the.
You hear that? I'm gonna play that back. He said the government owes us. So does he mean us, meaning he's Black American, or he's the us who are Caribbean and Africans on around the world? Is that the us that he's claiming to be? Did you hear that? Let's play it again.
I support and believe reparations. U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continues to, but not for black people. That money is owed us. That money is held by this government, our government. It should be paid to us. So you know what? Not just U.S. black citizens, but U.S. Black citizens in the Caribbean and on the African continent, and not just by the United States, but by most, if not all, Western governments.
So Caribbeans and the African continent. He gives me a vibe of being a Caribbean. I was just paying attention closer to how he was talking. He does give off a Caribbean vibe. That head, and looks like his hairline is kind of look like he got some hair there, but his hairline is kind of funny. He does give off a Caribbean vibe now that I'm paying more attention to him. He really gives off a Caribbean vibe about himself. But he said reparations should not only go to the blacks in America, they should go to the Caribbeans and the Africans on the continent. That's been one of the main talking points. Like I said, there's patterns to this. They're using the same talking points. So you got to pay attention when the clown ops get online, and you just can't just hear them say something. You got to pay attention to what they're saying, because they're trying to discredit FBA, trying to make them seem like foundational Black Americans is some little group of 5 or 6 people. They're just on the internet. But yet he already revealed they came out to Kamala's book signing. So how much on the app are they on, and they are not outside? See, he contradicts himself. He's been contradicting himself from the start of the video up until now. Clown ops, I'll tell you.
Really, reparations. U.S. government has done it for centuries for so many other groups and continues to, but not for black people. That money is owed us. That money is held by this government, our government. It should be paid to us. So you know what? Not just U.S. black citizens, but
not just U.S. black citizens. All right, let's get it straight.
Not for black people. That money is owed us. That money is held by this government, our government. It should be paid to us. So you know what? Not just U.S. citizens, U.S. black citizens, but U.S. Black citizens in the Caribbean
and
on the African continent,
and on the African continent.
not just by the United States, but by most, if not all, Western governments.
So not just by the United States, but most or all Western governments. This is something we have been saying for a while, that everybody pretty much owes us, because everybody had their hand in the slave trade and they had their hand in slavery. So he's taking talking points that we already been saying, calling it out, that pretty much everybody owes us, even Africans, because Africans sold other Africans to the Europeans and Dutch and all of them, Portuguese and all that stuff. And some of them winded up here in the US. Although we had the least amount of slaves brought to the US, there were already black people in the United States, but they had some come over, and that's even under suspicion. We had the least amount, if anything, if you want to go with that, we had the least amount that came to the US, what would be now the US cities and here in the United States. A lot of them was brought to Brazil and some of them South American countries, them Latino countries. When explorers got here in the US, they seen black people and said, yo, they look kind of like the people that over in Africa. But we was far from, I guess they were going by skin color, but our mindsets were way different from them. We different mindset compared to any other black looking people, Caribbean, African continent, or anywhere else around the world. We had a whole different mindset. And our mindset was about standing up against injustices, even to the point that we would stand up physically if that's where it needed to come to. And a lot of these Caribbeans and African folks in the continent, they don't have that same spirit or mindset of standing up. You just seen the situation with Julius Malema. I don't know if something's changed, but them South Africans can't even stand up for him. They're still not standing up to colonizers. They're just hoping things happen. They're not making things happen. Right?
U.S. black citizens, but U.S. Black citizens in the Caribbean and on the African continent, and not just by the United States, but by most, if not all, Western governments. That being said, we have the government we have and the system we have. It's not an easy thing to do. And it certainly can't be done by protesting the former vice president.
And so he's running the Obama line. It's so hard. Remember when he was saying in a few places he went to, oh, it's so hard. It's hard out there. It's hard. And he's saying that it's so hard to make it happen here. And by protesting, no, you can't do that.
The government we have and the system we have, it's not an easy thing to do.
The government we have and the system we have, it's not an easy thing to do. But it seems like our delineation is working and the reparations movement is still in full effect. Because everybody's spazzing out because we delineated or we separated ourselves from the activities that are happening with other ethnic groups. We're no longer participating and moving ourselves out the way and letting everybody else handle their own business, right? That's what a lot of us has chose to do. Because every time we would stand up for everybody else, get out there on the front lines, and some get shot off, killed, arrested, beat down for standing everybody else. And then it brings some change. Everybody else gets the benefits, but they don't come back and say, y'all need to release who y'all shot or beat up, and you need to get penalized for those you shot and killed. No. The other ethnic groups don't come back and try to help get the payback. They just love when we stand in the front lines and fight off everybody because they know that's what we do. That's been our MO. We had a different mindset from all the other black looking folks in a different spirit because our history always shows that of standing up and fighting against stuff and coming to blows when it needs to come to blows physically. So they know that's what type of people we are. And then we so nice and we allow everybody to come in. That's been a detriment as well. Being so open and accepting. Hey, y'all come on in. Africans, you come on in. Caribbeans. We feel like you just like us, but they let you know quick through either word or deed, meaning action. By word or action, they let us know, no, we not. We ain't the same. And so they don't stand up the same for us. So clown op is not hard. Clown op.
The African continent, and not just by the United States, but by most, if not all, Western governments. That being said, we have the government we have and the system we have. It's not an easy thing to do. And it certainly can't be done by protesting the former vice president. But the reason, as I said,
and you saying that we can't come to Kamala's functions because that's not going to work. It's not going to work that we come there and call her out in person so everybody can see, because there were some black people there also that was actually on the side of Black Alpha and Marcel. They were standing up for them. And they don't like the fact that we come out there in person to it. Don't matter if it's the Afro descendants and their little functions they have, whether it's Kamala or any of these other DNC ops, Roland Martin, swollen Martin, who likes to talk junk and cuss people out, but then when you confront him, he gets to running away. So swollen Martin is one of them type of dudes. He'll say something on air on YouTube, calling people stupid and a-holes and dumb, but then when you come up to confront him, wanting to talk to him like, hey, what did you say? Let's have a discussion. He ready to go run and turn his head. He ain't got no hands. He all mouth, no hands. All mouth, no hands. That's Swollen Martin for the Swollen Martin supporters.
Most, if not all, Western governments. That being said, we have the government we have and the system we have. It's not an easy thing to do. And it certainly can't be done by protesting the former vice president. But the reason, as I stated when this video started, it's an op, because they're targeting her to drum up opposition against her ahead of 2028.
So we are ops. He's going to say some other funny stuff. We're going to break that down. Or I'm going to break that down. We ops because we just trying to drum up opposition against her. No, we're bringing out all facts. All right, we're bringing up all facts. Remember when she was on The Root, the interview with The Root or the Griot, one of the two, and she was like, I'm not just doing anything for black people, only for black people. No, you think people forgot that? Nobody forgot that. And then when she talks in circles. I really think she's been programmed, to be honest with you, because I think they said her mom had something to do with some type of organization, like programming minds or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I remember that being said. Her mom was really recruited like as a mind control specialist or something to that effect. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think I remember, and don't quote me on the exact wording, but something along those lines, I believe they said her mom was involved with. And I think Kamala has been programmed in some type of way. You just got to study people, man. Just watch when she talks, how she talks. Really got to look at people and listen. and keep watching them on interviews and things. Because now the new things, Kamala, I don't even want to call her Kamala. Now one of the new things is because he's trying to get some sympathy votes, maybe, or some people on the side, is to say, yeah, you should vote for your interests, or vote for something. You should want something for your vote. She said that on Al Sharpton's National A-Hole Network. She said that. So that's a play. That's a game she's running. She might start running that line. Yeah, you should want something for your vote, because that's stuff we've been saying all along. Foundational Black Americans have been saying you should get something for your vote. We shouldn't be giving up our vote just for them to do something for everybody else. And she actually used that line. She looked at Al Sharpton in his direction and said, yeah, I believe they should get something for their vote. She's running game. She don't really believe that, but she know if she used that line, some people are going to fall for it and go, well, see, she's changed her mind. She really feels that we should get something for our vote, but never said, this is what I'm going to give to you for your vote. And that's the key. That's why I say you got to listen. She says one thing out of mouth, but don't follow up with it. You got to listen to folks.
The same thing they did when she was a senator coming up in California as Attorney General and so forth. They already started targeting her. That's how you know it's op. And unfortunately, like many ops, it wrangles in some people who are earnest and maybe they believe like this should and can be done, but they just don't have, they've chosen not to understand the political process,
And that's another thing I have a problem with, when people say, oh, you don't know anything about the process, the political process. Because somebody does something that you don't like, that means they don't understand the political process. And he's trying to flip it again and make it seem like, see, they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand how the political process works. You don't go and protest Kamala. You don't go protest Kamala. You don't call her out on her BS. You don't let the public and the audience know the game she's playing. No, that's not how you do it. Y'all don't know the process. The process is just vote on them and wait to see what you get. That's the process. You're supposed to go vote. Like Obama said, go vote. That's the process. That's the process he's wanting everybody. You want the black people to go, do the slavery thing. Just go and wait for massa to give you somethings for being so goods. That's what you're supposed to do. Wait on massa to give you something good for being goods. And like I said, that's getting annoying when people say you don't know the process. You don't know what people research and study. I had somebody on Twitter say that to me, another Black American or so-called Black American, a woman. I asked a question, and one thing I know, when you ask questions, people can't handle that for some reason. A lot of people can't handle. Very few people can handle a question being asked, because when that question is too deep or not that it's hard or difficult for the person to answer it, but when it's revealing, it's too deep, it lets you know that maybe the person understands some things, so they're asking questions, or they know how to ask the right questions to get understanding. Then all of a sudden you get cut off as and labeled as you don't understand the process. But then the people that say that were the ones who made a certain comment that triggered you to ask a question. You got to know how to get people, man, when it's time to get them.
was a senator coming up in California as Attorney General and so forth. They already started targeting her. That's how you know it's op. And unfortunately, like many ops, it wrangles in some people who are earnest and maybe they believe like this should and can be done, but they just don't have, they've chosen not to understand the political process, the political system, and things like that. Instead, they just resort to sloganeering and now somehow protesting, just doing dumb stuff.
So people are sloganeering and out there doing dumb stuff. So it's dumb to call people out. It's dumb to let them know, look here, for the last 60 years or better, we've been voting for the same party, but we keep noticing that when we vote for you, you keep doing stuff for other people. You're not doing stuff for the people, the majority of the people who are really giving you, making it possible for you to win. You doing it for everybody else. You giving people benefits, but the people that really was the majority that caused you to win, nah, you seem like you keep on going past them. Right?
Not to understand the.
So we don't understand the process. We don't, because we go out and call folks out. We go out and let you know, hey, look, it's not happening no more. If we don't get nothing, you get nothing. You get no vote if we don't get our bag. And I don't even care about saying the bag too much, but that's what's owed, the bag, the money. No check, no vote. That's what they have. That's what the problem is. It's not that none of us know the process. They don't appreciate and don't want to understand our tactics, and they don't like our tactics. So it gets turned down to, oh, you just don't know the process. You don't really want to know the process. Yeah, the process of vote, sit back and wait and hope that you get something while you watch everybody else get and come up and get better than you and get more than you from the government. And you get to watch people that haven't been here, don't even know the history of Black folks. People who don't understand it was because Black folks is the reason why you here. Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, the reason why you in the country. And can talk junk and act crazy because a certain ethnic group didn't want none of y'all over here. They had to accept us being here because we was already here. But because we thought that y'all skin color, y'all would kind of link up with us, we're going to look out for them, man. We're going to speak up for them and kind of push this government to make sure they get in. And the government didn't want them in. They said, you know what? We're going to allow them to come in, make it seem like we're doing this because of them, which they did, but we're going to turn them against them. Right? But we don't understand the process, but we made things happen. That's kind of interesting.
They believe like this should and can be done, but they just don't have, they've chosen not to understand the political process, the political system, and things like that. Instead, they just resort to sloganeering and now somehow protesting, just doing dumb stuff. So when you see it on these apps, because you don't see this stuff in real life.
See how he's seeing what he's trying to do? When you see them on the apps, because you don't see this in real life, but you just explained how in real life people were walking up to the functions and doing stuff in real life. See how idiotic that sounds? That's clown talk. See how clownish that sounds? You just broke down and said they came outside. They wasn't on no app. You can't be at a Kamala function on an app and say something that somebody's going to listen to. You have to come out there to the actual place, which he said happened. Clown talk.
Now somehow protesting, just doing dumb stuff. So when you
just said out there protesting, doing dumb stuff, but they're on the app. Clown talk.
You see it on these apps, because you don't see this stuff in real life. When you see it on these apps and someone says FBA, Foundational Black America, just know, most likely you're dealing with a person who knows this or not, but sometimes they don't know. And
so when I say FBA, I know I'm an op, but I don't know. I don't understand that FBA is a lineage. It simply is those who were born in this country had ancestors who were slaves as well. They didn't get nothing for what they done for years and years and years. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Columbia University, and some more companies and educational facilities were able to benefit off of the slavery. None of them decided to give any money back in return. Governments benefited, other countries benefited, and that's considered being an op. Very interesting.
FBA, Foundational Black America, just know, most likely you're dealing with a person who knows this or not, but sometimes they don't know. And oftentimes they're not in the United States of America. That is an op started by Russia. You see those accounts.
And he's using the same talking points that Joy Reid, I believe, was the one who's mentioning that, oh, these are just Russian bots. Like, we are Russian bots. Now he's saying we're from Russia. And what he's getting ready to say is actually backwards. And I could show you something about that as well before we get out of here. But what he's getting ready to say is a little bit backwards.
Who knows this or not, but sometimes they don't know. And oftentimes they're not in the United States of America. That is an op started by Russia. You see those accounts popping up when Twitter exposed all those accounts from around the world, their location. They were in Nigeria, they were in India, they were everywhere spouting FBA nonsense, because it's just a means to distract from the issues at hand and to get Black people specifically, and more specifically, Black men, on board with targeting Black politicians. So ignore that nonsense.
So they was going to get Black men. The whole thing was to get Black men, as if Black men can't think for themselves. So this whole thing, this FBA thing, is just a ploy to get Black men to go against other Black government people. It's like, we can't, me being a Black man myself, it's like I can't think for myself. I have to have somebody program me into going against people who I see with my own eyes, I can hear with my own ears, right? Hear with my own ears. The fact that certain things aren't on the up and up, right? I'm watching Kamala, I'm watching other Democrats, I'm paying attention to what they're doing. I'm watching interviews of, I'm not just going to do something that's for Black people. No. So I can't think for myself and see that's what she said. And then what we're saying, we're wanting, and been saying it for several years now. And then Kamala didn't say any of that. And now all of a sudden she changes her mind and says, yeah, Al Sharpton, they should get something for their vote. Ain't that what she said, or very close to it? When they were at the National A-Holes Network, right? Isn't that what she said? She changed her tune, but I can't think and see that, oh, she's running game. I'm just not that smart as a Black man. I got to have somebody influence me and get on board with FBA as to help, so they can influence me. And because I can't really think for myself, they're making me, they're influencing me to go on and do this and go on to do that, and other Black men as well. This is what this guy is saying, right? The idiocy, the clown talk. He looked like a straight clown. And like I said, he did sound a little Caribbeanish. And then when he made that statement about the money should go to not only Black people in America, it should go to African continent and Caribbeans too. Yeah, because he looked like a Caribbean. And he was talking, I kind of picked up a little bit on his accent. He sounded Caribbean to me. I could be wrong, but he came off as being some type of Caribbean. And I'll say this because I've said this several times, and others have said the same thing. Other foundational Black Americans that you might see on YouTube channels have said the same thing. We not against none of those ethnic groups, but the ones that got a problem with us, then we gonna have a problem with them. Call them out. And I've even said that whether it's Latinos, whether it's Caribbeans, Africans, you have individuals that you might get down with or they associate with you. But as a general whole of the ethnic group, the majority of them could care less about foundational Black Americans. But you have individuals in each ethnic group that really rock with foundational Black Americans. They'll get offended that their family members or friends of their ethnicity has something negative to say about foundational Black Americans. Some will even disown family members and friends for disrespecting their friend who is a foundational Black American. So we can't be talking about every individual or every single person, but the majority as a whole, all you got to do is be around them and see their behavior, their mannerisms, how they act towards you, the micro expressions they show, the things they might say under their breath, or trying to be funny with saying certain things or asking things in a certain way. Just like that Haitian chick on that them Young Boys podcast, I forget the name of it, where she said dirty Black Americans. Remember that? Just came out her mouth and said that to old boy, who was a foundational Black American, I believe, called her out. And then I think the other guy, the other host that's with him, there was two, I think it's three guys. I think one of them is Haitian, and he even questioned the old girl. He questioned the Haitian girl. So that's an example of what I said. You have individuals. So I think one of them guys is Haitian. I think it's called the Daily Wrap-Up Crew, if I'm not mistaken. I think the tall Black dude is Haitian. And then you have the other light-skinned dude who's half and half. He's Jamaican and he's half foundational Black American heritage as well. But I think it was the tall, slim, darker skinned dude out of the three that I think he's Haitian. I think. And then the main host guy, I guess the one that kind of speaks it all, sets it off a little bit, I think he's foundational Black American. But that's like I said, you have individuals that'll rock with you because the one dude is half Jamaican, half foundational Black American. He rocks with his boy. That's one of his boys. They all on the same show. Let me go on and pull this up. All right. I said I was going to do it. Let me pull this up real quick. Since we want to get it crack-a-lacking. The clown op who was speaking in the video. Yeah. Let's get it in. All right. I think it was something else I wanted to show, but now, oh yeah, I think I remember what it was. Maybe I'll get to it. All right, let's pull this up. Okay, because he said she was a civilian, but didn't want to say the stuff that she was doing was presidential candidate activity. Here we have Kamala Harris. You should see her on the screen. Yes, you do. Next to Mark Kelly. Next to Ro Khanna. I think he's Indian. Then they didn't put Westmore's face on the screen. Westmore's Jamaican. And I don't know who this Josh Green is. I'll have to look who Josh Green is. But look, Kamala Harris. Let me see something. And then look at here. 2028. So somebody don't try to say, oh, that's old. Nah, 2028 presidential candidates, potential Democratic candidates: Andy Bashir, Cory Booty Booker, Peter Buttigieg, Rahm Emanuel. Imagine that. Ruben Gallego. These are your potential Democratic candidates for 2028 presidential candidates. Everyone except Ruben Gallego has been mentioned as pro-Israel. I'm not saying nothing bad about Israel. I'm just showing you some stuff. All right, now we get down here. It's showing Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the candidate. This candidate's pro-Israel. They even got Gavin Newsom as a potential. Alexandria Cortez, potential. John Ossoff, potential. J.B. Pritzker, Josh Shapiro. We're going to get to Kamala in a minute. Elisa Slotkin and Gretchen Whitmer. And here's the Republicans. This is for 2028. All right, you see it on top of the screen. Let me make sure I can see it on my screen so I know that you'll see it on your screen. 2028 presidential candidates. Republicans now. You got Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis. They put it, notice how some people, they put it in red. This is pro-Israel candidate, but they got DeSantis in black. This candidate is pro-Israel. RFK, pro-Israel. Kristi Noem, pro-Israel. Marco Rubio. They said, I heard that they were saying Marco Rubio is probably going to run. JD Vance. All potentials, right? Glenn Youngkin. There was something about Glenn Youngkin. Yeah, he was Virginia, but something foul about him. I forgot what it was, if I'm not mistaken. See, I be remembering this stuff, but I just forget what it's about. It rings a bell about something that didn't seem like it was on the up and up. Everybody has the pro-Israel mark except Ted Cruz for the Republican side. All right, just want y'all to see who's the potential people who's going to run for president for 2028. It might even say it's a guesstimation. I mean, Gavin was claiming he wasn't going to run, but he's been kind of running around lately, giving that vibe of he could be running. But let's look at Kamala, since the clown man, the clown op, who was trying to be funny with his words and saying that FBA was out of place about Kamala. Israel lobby money, a total of $10 million. So she's a millionaire for sure. Don't get it twisted. From PACs, she got $6 million. From IEs, she got $2 million. And then lobby donors, another $1 million and so. Okay. If anyone from Israel of any power wants her to do something, and it could be against Black Americans, guess who she not going to do nothing for? If anybody of importance, if it's the president himself says anything about, hey, we don't want you doing nothing for them Black Americans. Remember, you got this millions of dollars from us. Guess what she not going to do? So for all you Kamala lovers, this is what I was saying off and on different reports and some of my podcast episodes as well. When I said these folks is not for you, they're not going to do nothing for you. And especially if they getting money from somebody, if I give you money for something, you damn well going to do what I ask you to do, or else I'm going to cut your money off and you're going to be out in the street. So you're going to cape and do, what I want. So if they say anything they want against towards any Black American, guess who she going to do what she's told to do, and not do for what she might give the impression that she's going to do for. See, the clown op in the video, he don't want to show you nothing like this. He's hoping that the Dumbos will listen to him. The clown affiliates who won't use their brain and think, and they'll go along with it. And some of them might be Black Americans, some of them will be Caribbean, and some of them will be Africans from the continent and Africans in the US. See, clown op ain't gonna break this down to you and let you know, hey, she getting that APAC money. And anything they want her to do, and if it's against Black Americans, she gonna do it because she getting that APAC money. She don't want that APAC money to go. All right, so that's that. Now I'm gonna pull up something else now that clown op was talking about. Let's see here before I pull it up. All right, I'm gonna use a particular Twitter account because he was mentioning something along the lines, saying that they were finding out. He was trying to let people know that ever since Twitter has this feature to where you can see what country people come from, right? Let me go home and let me do it like this. I won't pull up that. I'm just going to kind of randomly go through this thing and see what we can find out. Let me see if his account, where his, no, he probably won't. Let's see if he'll show his. Oh, that's interesting. It did. Okay. I'm gonna go down the line some more here. Oh no, hold on. Let's get out of that. There we go. There's a great example right here. All right, I'm gonna pull this up. Boom. All right, we should be in. Let me just check. Yep. I'm getting good with this now. I know how to work this thing to switch out. All right, here's an account from Twitter. Now, some of y'all don't know this. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all probably do, but maybe still some that don't know. Because Elon Musk, I guess, owns Twitter now. Apparently, there's a feature to where, because there was a lot of issues with a lot of Africans and Caribbeans saying things and trying to front off like they FBA at times, and then something wasn't right, but you couldn't put your finger on it. Well, they had a feature to where you can click on when they join or even hover over it like you see here, and it tells you, where their accounts come from and how, this is likely where they actually live at. And if they don't live there, at least they open up their account at this particular part of the world. So I'm going to click on this. Let me make sure it's showing up on my screen. Yes, it does. And when I clicked on the date join, you look down and you see account was based in Macedonia. All right. And then look further down, connected via Macedonia App Store. So if this person would ever try to act like there was FBA and they was like, yeah, I'm in America, you couldn't really know at the time. And you might get fooled and think, because you're thinking they sound like a Black American, you might think, oh, they sound like they're Black American. But then when you click on, they made a feature to now when you click on their account, you can see where they from. They wasn't in America and they're not Black American. Oh, you from here, most likely. And so a lot of them were getting caught out there and getting exposed. And then a lot of them, Caribbeans and Africans, kind of disappeared from Twitter. Now a lot of them get on, or they was getting on TikTok, running the same nonsense and saying the same thing that the clown op in the video was saying. A lot of them disappeared off of Twitter when they got found out. So they just went to another social media platform or interest media platform, which I know about that. It's no longer social, it's interest media. What interests you media now. Now they've been going on those platforms and trying to run the same game. And they've been getting exposed over there too. So Clown Op is not out here exposing that. He's being the paid Clown Op. That's all he's doing, being a paid Clown Op. All right. And so with that being said, I'm just going to end it like that. I appreciate y'all for coming in. I wanted to get this exposed because if you hear anything similar to what Clown Op has said, you know it's game. Don't get fooled. Don't get tricked. We exposing stuff out here. Justifiably, I should say. It's not to pick on him, but when you say the stuff that's not correct, right, and exact, we're going to let you have it. And we're going to let it be known. So look at his face, to get a good look at his face so you can recognize who he is. When you see him, you go, oh, that's the Clown Op. You said a lot of false stuff because somebody put out the real truth from what you saying. And then he'll be doing a lot of explaining. He'll get on another video explaining, trying to justify why he said it. And, oh, they made me do it. While you collect the check for being a Clown Op. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. Much love. Be sure to subscribe if you're checking us out on YouTube, Twitch, even the Facebook pages. Although we can't go live on the Facebook page, I'm actually going live. These be broadcasted on my personal profile, but we do put clips because the clips can be put out on the pages. So if you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Where else are we live at? Or Instagram as well. Follow those pages, whichever one you look at the most. If you're on YouTube, be sure to check periodically that you are subscribed and getting notifications, because what they're doing is YouTube, of course, they're setting up the algorithms, to kind of play games. I'll get 5 or 6 new subscribers and then one drops off immediately. And then 3 or 4 more come, and then 2 or 3 end up dropping off. Of course, we know bots exist, but we know that real people exist, and some real people end up just getting mysteriously dropped from being a subscriber. And then they're wondering what happened. It definitely ain't me. I'm not cutting anybody off. If there's a way to do it, I'm not aware of it right now. So I'm not stopping anybody or cutting them off from being subscribed to any of our platforms, social media platforms, or interest media platforms. So it's not me. So we know that when you're putting out some good information, they don't want you to know. And so they'll drop 1 or 2 people here or there, and they'll slowly try to play that game. But the more people that hit the thumbs up button and the more people that subscribe, the algorithm is going to read like, hey, people like this channel. We're going to expose it to more people. We're going to publicize it to more people. So they let the algorithms do the work. So you do the work and hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Tell your family and friends about us as well. And let's bring in some more people in so they can know what's going on. I believe there are some white people that subscribe. They kind of stay on the low, and the other ethnic groups check it out, or they come and at least watch it. I know that. So, yeah, subscribe. It costs you no money, and hit them thumbs up. It costs you no money. All right. This is what the lamestream media, NBC, CBS, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, The Hill, none of them is putting you up on anything like this. Not at all. All right. We appreciate y'all again. This is What's the 411 News, and you know what it is. We always going to get back with you on another one. All right. I'm out. Peace. Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.